All right. So with our first question, so I want to congratulate you on getting your MFA at USC.
Thank you.
Um, we realized here on FERNTV that it's a really big thing. So can you tell us a little bit about your experience of getting that and what brought you to your film Soak?
Yeah, so I went to 4 years of art school in New York, but meanwhile, I always wanted to make films. So finally coming to USC, it really felt like I finally found my place. Um, and Soak was sort of the culmination of everything I had learned in USC coming together and becoming, my graduate thesis. Um, and yeah, like in the beginning, it wasn't called Soak. I wanted to shoot in LA with an Asian American family, and I always wanted to make a movie about family relationships, but it was much more genre heavy. So it was a
Mhm.
very different movie in the beginning, until my producer convinced me that maybe I should think about shooting this in Korea.
Mhm.
And then I started reworking the script with that in my mind, and everything kind of just changed, I think, for the better. And it turned out to be something a lot more raw, real, and organic. And I'm really glad that I made the choice to shoot in Korea.
Can you also explain? You also went to the Cooper Union School in New York. So how does that prep you for an MFA in USC?
Yeah. So in USC, we kind of learn all about the rules of filmmaking. And in Cooper, I spent a lot of time learning how to ignore or break the rules in any media. So I think the two kind of became a healthy mix for me.
Mhm.
Sometimes like I can be really bold and try very radical different things in my movie, and other times you kind of want to keep the audience following in your footsteps. So you need a little bit of like groundwork of feeding the right information. And my education at USC really helped me with that.
Mhm. What were some of the challenges in making this film, and what did you learn about yourself as a director after the production was all set and done?
So shooting in Korea was a big challenge because it was my first time. So I was learning everything from the ground up just by doing. I was constantly telling my actors and crew, like, this, tell me if this is like very different or feels weird for you, because like this is what I learned, but maybe things are different here.
Mhm.
So it was a huge learning process. I'm really glad I went through it. And I would love to shoot again in Korea. Like, I think it's such a cinematic place
Mhm.
to shoot. What I learned, I would say, I think I need to be healthier. Like, being creative is super important, but you need sort of the physical body and like stamina to back that up. So I realized like I should take better care of my body if I want to keep doing this in the long term.
So what was the experience like to cast Dong Un Lee, who's your main character, of course? What was the casting process like? She's like the main focus of your film, and
Yeah.
tell us how you selected her.
So that was really easy, actually. We auditioned a lot of people, but Dawn was one of the first whose resume and headshot I got. And I sort of knew, I think, from the beginning that, I saw her profile before I even flew to Korea. I was looking at it online in LA, and I really liked her reel and her work and just her vibe. And I just prayed that she would show up to the audition and be able to make the film dates. And I think really like it was an easy choice to cast her.
Nice, very nice. So we here on Fern TV at we were at TIFF 2019, and we had the chance to interview the cast and crew of Parasite. So
Awesome.
so we it was funny because my producer and I we were going into we had the chance of either going to the red carpet of Hustlers or to the red carpet of Parasite. So I
Nice.
said, "There's no way we're gonna get 10 seconds with Jennifer Lopez. So why don't we just go to this movie Parasite, which I saw beforehand?" I said, this film's gonna win like best picture, and
Yeah.
it won Palm's Door, so we might as well go and hit this red carpet up, and we did. And so with that win with Parasite and for Korean cinema, what did that do for you as a director, and how did you feel with that win?
It was amazing, like people don't believe me when I say this, but I don't say this because I'm a Korean. I truly think that movie, just like as a filmmaker and a regular audience member, deserved all the wins and accolades. And this happened while I was in film school. So it was really cool to see my peers and even the professors like talk about this movie and connect with this movie that was spoken in my language and took place in my culture. So obviously, like I felt really proud in that aspect, but I think it's definitely like deserved all the wins. And if I'm on, like, in a way, it was intimidating for me. I mean, not to compare myself at all with director Bong, but it's just like to have that standard up there. It's like it's inspiring, but at the same time, it's like, okay, when am I gonna get there? You know.
So I noticed in the film Soak, which is kind of similar to the movie Parasite, where you make a lot of big opportunities within tight knit spaces. So can you comment on that? And also, is this a technique that you learned in school, or were you just, or is this just because the culture of Korea is just like a tight knit community, and where there's a lot of tight spaces?
I think it's a little bit of both. It's intentional in that we really wanted to make the spaces around Yeonsu, our main character, claustrophobic, suffocating, and at the same time, like sometimes it can feel cozy and comforting.
Hmm.
So that's something we were after. But at the same time, as you say, a lot of spaces in Korea are naturally tight knit and small and sort of cramped. So kind of the two mesh together well from the get go. And director Bong, like he is very intentional in his choices and methodical about the way he plans out everything. And obviously, we didn't have the resources to be that intentional. Like everything was shot on location, but it worked out for us because the spaces were really small, and because the story is so centered on Yeonsu, I was fine with kind of zoning in on her and letting everything else sort of fall away or like play off screen just with sound.
Hmm.
So yeah, I think the two came together well for the movie.
Excellent, excellent. So there's been a lot of there's been a sort of like an awareness or a rising of an awareness of Asian female filmmakers such as yourself and Carol Nguyen, who came out with No Crying at the Dinner Table. So and these are films that deal with Asian families, the whole family dynamic. So can you possibly tell us or comment about this opportunity of telling your story about the family dynamics in Asian families?
I grew up with seeing a lot of intelligent, like super interesting, unique women. Um, and that didn't necessarily reflect in the movies that I was watching. So as the entry barriers to who gets to make movies and tell stories come down. I think it's very natural that these talented, smart female Asian filmmakers are popping up everywhere. So I think it's great. I think it was just a matter of time. Yeah, and I think it'll be great for everyone because just the range of the stories that we get to share will only grow, you know, and hopefully it's just ups the bar for everyone to in the craft of filmmaking.
So you're going to be part of South by Southwest this year, and so tell us how you feel about the being part of that, and then if you can back up a little bit, and what was the story of like you getting the acceptance of your film being at South by Southwest?
South by is super exciting. It's obviously it was one of the festivals that I really, really was hoping to screen at, like one of my dreams. Like I had the South by logo posted above my desk while I was writing the script.
Excellent.
That's like how much I was hoping for it. And yeah, I mean, like the thing is we made, while we were in post, COVID happened, and then the world sort of just like went down this dark hole. So I kind of felt like, you know, at times like almost like everything was a little bit pointless or where directionless in terms of where this movie was going to go or what was going to happen to it, to the point where I almost didn't submit to South by.
Wow. Okay.
Because I was so unsure about the future, you know, dark places. And then, but I did anyway. And because my friends were like, just do it, you know, you've come this far. And then I got the news and I was just like, I wasn't doing anything special. I was just like at home making lunch or something. And yeah, it was like a beam of light that just came down and I was like, oh my God, we're gonna go to South by. Like it was hard to believe, you know, because you're like at home basically 24/7.
Right.
So it's because you don't have like a community to immediately like physically be there and talk about this with you. It almost feels like a dream. Like, is this real? But now it feels real and I'm really excited about it.
Well, thank you so much for your time, and congratulations once again in attaining your MFA, and of course your film being at South by Southwest, and all the best for your film, Soak.
Thanks, Fernando. Thank you so much.